Hey everybody, it's me, Coach Rebecca, and I am coming at you today to talk about one of the great obsessions in my household right now, the movie Encanto. Let me know if you are also in the same boat of having the soundtrack on repeat. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, so they might be a little younger than your kids, but oh my goodness, I know every word to that movie at this point. These kids are quick. We watched it Christmas Eve for the first time. But something, as I'm hearing these songs on loop, I'm making this connection. And I wanted to share that with you today because there's this great message in the movie. And I apologize in advance for the spoiler alert, but it's the kind of movie you want to watch repeatedly anyway. So I think you'll be okay if I spoil it a little bit. So the thing that keeps standing out to me is this character Luisa, and she, the background on the movie is that it's this family of gifted, talented, amazing people who have this miracle, which gives them basically superpowers. And then there's the one family member who doesn't have a superpower. And it's like, oh, does that sound like my life in gymnastics? I was like the one kid without the talent. Anyway, a lot of the kids that we work with in Perform Happy are super talented, which is kind of interesting, right? Because what we specialize in is helping athletes overcome fear and mental blocks. But I am going to tell you there is a direct connection between talent and mental blocks. And then this movie Encanto explains it in a really great way. So I wanted to share that with you today. So there's this myth, I think, in all of life and also in this movie that your talent is your superpower. And so I imagine, this little 8-year-old gymnast walks into the gym and she takes all her corrections and she has really good body awareness. And the coaches are like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love coaching those kids. I mean, I was a coach and when you have a talented little kid, you're like, oh, what else can you do? And it's so exciting. And then that kid goes to competition and they shine and they're winning, or they're at least, they're getting good scores, they're getting medals, maybe they're even getting on top of the podium, which is incredibly fun for, 8 or 9-year-old hotshot, and so fun for the coaches. And the coaches are like, cool, what else can you do? And then they're like, well, maybe we could go to the next level. And then the kid's like, okay, that sounds fun because I love this and it's really exciting. So they've got this, they're on this like talent space shuttle to the future. And everyone's like, she's so talented. She's so amazing. She's got so much potential. And then there's this thing that always happens. It always happens at some point in the career of a highly talented athlete. In comes the pressure and the expectations. That little kid just loved it because it was fun. And then they started to be successful, which is also fun, this is all, bringing up that internal motivation, the kid that only ever wants to be in the gym. But then the coaches or whoever, or the kid themselves or the parents, or just the general culture of youth sports comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, you could win. Oh my gosh, you could do bigger stuff. And this pressure starts to come in. Well, last season I did really well, so I have to do really well this season. Or I got that skill really fast, so I have to get this skill really fast. Or else. That's the like little asterisk parentheses is or else. Because if I fail, then I will disappoint everybody. This whole chorus of people who've been saying, you're so amazing, you're so talented, you're so fun to coach. All of a sudden, you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt yourself, and then you also start to sense a threat of, what if I fail? What if I disappoint? Which creates tension in the body, which sends a message to the brain that something's dangerous. There's a risk, there's a threat, which then makes the brain send messages to the body of tense up and get ready. There's something dangerous here. Then you go and you try a skill, especially a big skill, as you're moving up through the levels, and it feels a little scary. And then that starts to compound under this expectation and pressure that came from the young success. And then you've got this 12 or 13-year-old athlete who is completely melting down under their mind, even though they were supposed to be so amazing. Okay, if that sounds like your athlete, let me know. That's who we work with constantly. It is such a pattern. So here's how I'm going to relate this back to Encanto. Louisa is the one who's super strength. So she can carry like 8 donkeys or a church or a piano. And you just watch her. She's always carrying things. It's kind of like this gag. She's like, oh, there she is, like throwing 8 donkeys onto her back. And then she sings her big song, her big ballad that's all about the pressure and how if she's not strong and she can't help people, she has no worth. And if she can't do what she's great at, she has no value. And I see this in well, I guess not that little, but like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds they are feeling like, without necessarily verbalizing this, they're feeling like they have no value because they can't do what they're supposed to be able to do. They can't do that thing that gives them worth, which is being great, because they're scared and their skills aren't working, or they're not performing well under pressure because they are sensing this massive threat to something. They don't know what it is, but it's this threat to their emotional safety is really what it boils down to, which is not always related to abusive coaching, although it often is. It's not always related to too high of expectations in a family, although that can play a part. A lot of it is just that this kid they feel like they're going to be crushed under the pressure and expectations, which prevents them from trusting themselves. So we've got Louisa, she's got this whole song about how she's crumbling under the pressure, and if I can't help people, then I don't have value. And I see that with these kids. They feel like they are not valuable unless they're performing. And that is reinforced through a lot of messages that they're getting about their talent and their potential. And then guess what? Louisa's powers are fading now because of that. So that is the story of the burden of talent, where then there's kids like me who, well, I just was like high strung and anxious anyway. But there are kids who are not as talented, who are already used to not doing that well and having to work extra hard, and they get through that wall a little easier. Every athlete's gonna hit a mental wall. It is part of the game, especially in a dangerous, high pressure aesthetic sport. You will hit a wall mentally at some point if you want to rise to the top level. And it's the kids who break through it that reach their big dream in sport, okay? But that talent can become a burden if you don't figure out how to have a great relationship with yourself. Okay, so we go back to Louisa, and she's like, I kind of just want to relax and have a little joy, but I don't even know what that would be like. And then her support squad is like, has to actually physically carry her at the end and drop her on a hammock and be like, you just relax. And that's a lot of what we teach these kids how to do is relax, find your joy, and trust the process and just allow it to happen and trust that it's going to be okay. Meanwhile, we're helping them to figure out you do have value, regardless of how you perform, which therefore frees you up to perform. That's the amazing thing about it, is that a lot of what we teach has nothing to do with actually doing the skills, because the skills are not the actual problem. It's the perspective. It's that perfectionism and the self-criticism and all of those feelings like I must or else. We soften that and allow the happiness and joy to come back in so that you can strive for excellence without crumbling under the pressure of perfectionism. So my suggestion is for any parents out there who are nodding their head and going, oh my gosh, that is my child. Yes, I have the 13-year-old level 7 or level 8 who is exactly who you just described, Rebecca. Oh my gosh. Now's the time to start investing little bits of time into mental training. And what I'm going to do is the next couple days, I'm going to give you guys 3 different 5-minute mini exercises that will completely change the way you approach competition, because I know a lot of us are in competition season. So the next couple days, stay close to the Facebook page. I'm going to be going live teaching you bite-sized ways, because I think a big misconception is that in order to train your mind, you have to invest all the time you have, which is none. And I have like boiled this down to little itty bitty bite-sized exercises that will change your perspective, change your mind, and change your performance. So we're doing that this week. Next week, we're actually going to be doing our Champion Mindset Challenge again, which we've done a few times now. And every time we do it, I get so many messages and so many videos of, oh my gosh, she did it. She did the skill and she's so excited. And that competition went amazingly well because she had this, like, she knew what to do. She knew where she wanted to go. She knew how to talk to herself. So I would love to invite you to join it. It's totally free. It's 5 days of, again, those bite-sized exercises. It is so quick and easy, and it's amazing the results that people get from this challenge. So we're opening up the doors to that challenge right now. You can register at completeperformancecoaching.com/challenge, and it's going to help your athlete if they are a little bit like Louisa right now, stuck in perfectionism and lacking self-love and self-worth. We will help you to figure out exactly what the 5 keys are to developing a champion mindset, which will help you to be calm, relaxed, and happy under pressure, which will allow you to get your best performances. So join me this week on Facebook. Join me next week on Facebook. Make sure that you're following Complete Performance Coaching on Facebook. That's where all of the magic is happening. And I'm really excited to help you find your little hammock of joy within the crazy chaos that is your sport. It can be done. All right. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you soon. Bye.